Hello and welcome to Undead Gaming News, your one-stop shop for all things gaming. I'm your host Zombie, and first up this week we have God of War Ragnarok, which of course, a new trailer has now dropped, which included a release date, which has been set for November 9th, 2022. They also showed off the Collector's and Jotnar editions of the game. If you choose the Collector's edition, then you'll receive a steelbook display case, 2 veneer twin carvings, a wooden dwarven dice set, a 16-inch Mjolnir replica, which of course is Thor's hammer. You will also receive digital content, which is Kratos' Darkdale armor, Atreus' Darkdale attire, Darkdale blade handles for the Blades of Chaos, Darkdale axe grip for the Leviathan axe. You'll get the official God of War Ragnarok digital soundtrack, Dark Horse digital mini art book, an avatar set, and a PlayStation 4 theme. As for the Jotnar edition, you'll receive everything that's in the Collector's edition, as well as a 7-inch vinyl record, a Falcon, Bear and Wolf pin set, a ring that comes in a red cloth bag, a cloth map, and instead of the wooden dwarven dice set, you'll get Brock's dice set, which has a metallic silver finish with blue detailing, and the bag that they come in has the Huldra Brothers brand. It's also worth noting that if you do decide to get either of these editions, you will not get the physical game disc. You will only get a code to download the PS4 or PS5 version of the game. That, of course, was also something that happened with Horizon Forbidden West's Collector's Edition when that came out, and I think that's going to be a continuing trend with any Sony in-house studios, probably due to the fact that they have a digital-only PS5 that they sell. So the best guess is if you want the physical game disc and the collector's stuff, then maybe buy the collector's stuff first, and then when the game drops in price or goes on sale, you can get the standard edition so that you then have a game disc to put in your steelbook, if that's the way you want to go about it. But sticking with PlayStation, they're also hiring now. According to a new LinkedIn job listing, PlayStation is currently looking for a software development engineer. The person hired will join the tools and technology team at the studio. The person will also support the newly relaunched classics for the PS4 and PS5. The job listing also says that classic games run via emulation of legacy PlayStation platforms. As a classics engineer, you would work closely with a group of other engineers, producers, and QA teams to fix bugs and add new features and develop new emulators. Additionally, the listing also provides some extra position requirements. Some of these include expert knowledge of the C++ software and experience developing cross-platform software for consoles and PCs. As a plus, the studio would also like someone who has had hands-on experience with AA or AAA game development for PlayStation consoles. So if that sounds up your street, then head over to LinkedIn and apply for that, I suppose. Over on Blizzard's side of things, Blizzard Entertainment President Mike Ibarra has defended monetization in Diablo Immortal in an interview where he said, "When we think about monetization at that very highest level it was, how do we give a free Diablo experience to hundreds of millions of people where they can literally do 99.5% of everything in the game? The monetization comes in at the end game. The philosophy was always to lead with great gameplay and to make sure that hundreds of millions of people can go through the whole campaign without any costs. From that standpoint, I feel really good about it as an introduction to Diablo." I mean, personally, the fact that he's specifying that they wanted players to do 99.5% of everything in the game without having to pay for anything is inherently backwards. Surely you'd want to give them the full experience, but that's just my thought. But on the other side of things, we also have Diablo 4 on the way. And Blizzard's global community lead Adam Fletcher recently said on Twitter, "Diablo 4 is coming out as a full-price game, built strictly for PC and console audiences. The game is huge and there will be tons of content after launch for all players. Paid content is built around optional, cosmetic items and eventually full expansions." So it seems like they're obviously going to release a full Diablo game as usual with the full price tag, and any microtransactions will be purely cosmetic stuff, which is how it should be. And then later on, full story expansions, released as DLC, which again is how it should be rather than paywalling parts of the actual game. Also in the news we have Lollipop Chainsaw, as a remake has been confirmed. It's also been confirmed that the game's original producer, Yoshimi Yoshida, will be working on the remake through his Dragami Games studio alongside a combination of development staff from the original version. However, it has since been revealed that neither the creative director Goichi Suda nor co-writer James Gunn will have any involvement in the new project. Taking to Twitter, James Gunn said he'd only heard about the project a couple of weeks ago from Suda, and he went on to say that he neither endorses nor condemns it. He simply doesn't know anything about it, but as articles are starting to put his name on there, he thinks it's important to make clear that no one has ever approached them about it. Suda also shared a similar message by saying, "To add my 2 cents, like James Gunn says, neither he nor I am involved in the project at all, and Grasshopper Manufacture has nothing to do with development or anything." The remake of Lollipop Chainsaw is due out sometime 2023. Over at Rockstar Games, apparently they've shelved a remaster for GTA 4 and for Red Dead Redemption due to the poor reception that the GTA Trilogy remaster got. Insider sources claim that Red Dead Redemption and GTA 4 remasters were no longer on the table due to the backlash, and apparently Rockstar are also putting all their time and resources now into GTA 6, and once that game is released they may return to the remasters of GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption in the hopes that people will have forgotten just how bad the GTA Trilogy was. Over on Ubisoft's side of things, they've announced that they would be ending support for multiplayer for several of its older titles. These include Anno 2070, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Driver San Francisco, Far Cry 3, Ghost Recon Future Soldier, Prince of Persia The Forgotten Sands, Rayman Legends, Silent Hunter 5, Space Junkies, Splinter Cell Blacklist, and Zombie U. Remastered versions of these games are not affected, but these changes will take effect on September the 1st, 2022. So if you want to get any time on multiplayer on any of those games, you've got until September 1st before it's gone. Over on Xbox side of things, Microsoft has announced that starting in October, it's going to stop providing monthly free Xbox 360 games as part of its Games with Gold program. They sent out a statement via email that says, beginning October 1st, 2022, the monthly games provided to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and Xbox Live Gold members via Games with Gold will no longer include Xbox 360 titles. We have reached the limit of our ability to bring Xbox 360 games to the catalogue. However, Games with Gold will continue to include exciting Xbox One titles and exclusive savings each month. This will not impact any Xbox 360 games that you downloaded before October 2022. Any Xbox 360 titles that you redeem via Games with Gold before that time are yours to keep on your Xbox account, regardless of whether you continue your subscription. Thank you for being a loyal member, Team Xbox. So while they may be getting rid of the Xbox 360 games that they're giving away every month, you'll at least be able to keep the ones that you already have and claim until that point, regardless of whether or not you're still paying for the subscription, which I think is a good way to go about things. Because that's my only gripe with PlayStation Plus, is the fact that all the games that you claim for free each month, you can keep them as long as you keep paying the subscription. Otherwise you lose access to the games, which I don't agree with. Also in the news we have itch.io, as they're currently hosting a bundle for abortion funds in the US. For $10 you can get 792 games. The bundle is set to end on July the 14th, with a goal of $400,000, and at the time of recording they've reached $250,000 of that total. A statement attached to the bundle reads, 100% of the proceeds from this bundle will go to the National Network for Abortion Funds Collective Power Fund, which moves money directly to abortion funds across 20 plus states, with a particular focus on the South and Midwest, where it's often most difficult to get access to abortions. NNAF's partnerships with these abortion funds provide direct resources and funds to many of the people most impacted by Roe v. Wade towards immediate action. So if you're interested in supporting that, then you can head over to itch.io right now and claim the 792 games for $10. Also in the news we have political parties in the Netherlands backing a new attempt to block sale of video game loot boxes in the country. 6 parties say that they will support the motion. The motion describes loot boxes as a form of gambling and states that children in video games are manipulated to purchase such items via in-game microtransactions. While not signed into law yet, the 6 parties make up over half of the country's Senate and House of Representatives, suggesting that the motion may well succeed. Dutch politicians have previously tried and failed to regulate video game loot boxes, most notably via a lengthy battle with EA over Ultimate Team packs in FIFA. In October 2020, Court of Hague ruled FIFA packs broke Dutch gambling law and handed EA a €500,000 fine for every week it did not comply with its demand to pull back the packs from that year's FIFA. EA appealed the request and allowed the fine to reach its €10 million limit, and then 2 years later EA had the fine overturned by the Dutch Administrative Jurisdiction Division, which is the country's highest court. Now this new Dutch legislation may close the loophole which allowed EA to get off scot-free in the first place, which I think is great, because I do think that you need to regulate those loot boxes more, because they are a form of gambling at the end of the day, and it typically is minors who are buying them, particularly with FIFA's Ultimate Packs. Also in the news we have Resident Evil Village, as during a livestream Capcom revealed a new chapter following Ethan Winter's now teenage daughter for a playable episode called Shadow of Rose. Shadow of Rose will be played from the over-the-shoulder perspective most recently seen in Resident Evil 2 and 3 remakes, and the third-person option will also be added to the main Village storyline. The Mercenaries mode will also be getting an update that will include playable versions of Chris Redfield, Karl Heisenberg, and Lady Dimitrescu. Capcom's brief preview teased that the two villains have unique weaponry at their disposal, including the ability to command Heisenberg's minions and body slam foes as Lady Dimitrescu. All these updates will be collected separately as the Winter's expansion, as well as bundled with the original game in the Resident Evil Village Gold Edition, both of which will be launched on October 28th. And that just about does it for this week. If you have any thoughts on anything discussed, leave them in the comment section below as always, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.